From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with huge news about your stocks, your bonds, your economy, your Wall Street, your housing crisis of 2022, your stock market crash of 2022, and your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. From Santa Monica, California, good afternoon. How are you? For June 6, 2022, a fourth stimulus check has landed in every U.S. state. I'm going to go over how to get those incredible checks in today's recording. A fourth stimulus check, lots of money, upwards of $80,000 for single individuals, married, with children, without children, on benefits and more. It's only on this channel, and it's coming up later in this recording. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. We'll be going over that fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state later in this recording. Also making news today, is there a potential deal on to bring that price of gasoline down? Viewers are asking that on the 1 o'clock show today. I have the latest answer today. As a major deal is being pursued by the White House, will it work to bring that price of gasoline down at the pump? Then we look back to the Build Back Better Act and the importance of getting it done in the next few weeks. It's likely to get finished by negotiation this next few days. I'll have the latest details on that front as well. Then, Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve are bringing down that inflation. But is he bringing inflation down to a point that he's bringing us into recession? The latest progression of where this economy is now going. The downward spiral of the U.S. economy, the housing market crash of 2022, the stock market crash of 2022, and why we're just in the start of a downward spiral. The latest data in today's recording. That is why it's important to stay with me and get these big checks across the board. You're going to need these checks as the U.S. economy gets much smaller in the next 90 days. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get that incredible newsletter. Over this big new broadcast for June 6, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, we're going to go over where this economy is, where the economy is going, and when your money is landing in your wallet by direct deposit. It's a big, bold, beautiful day. We have a lot to go over. Let's get to it. It's time right now to start America's most loved show at midday, Afternoons LALATE. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's June 6, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California today. Welcome, and thank you for joining me on a big broadcast. Over this next 1 hour broadcast, we're going to get some money. We're going to learn about what the value of our money is right now and where it's going to be worth in less than 90 days from now. This U.S. economy is shrinking, and you need to get every check that's available and understand where that valuation on your money will be in 90 days from now as well. If you were with me over the weekend, you saw a lot of major news coming in, and that major news involved 1, the labor market, 2, inflation, and 3, your money. We'll be touching back on that breaking news that really did happen over the weekend that is so important. But the other stories that we're watching this week are heating up right now. Later this week, we're going to see that consumer price index number, CPI, released on Friday. That'll give us a gauge about where inflation is. That's coming up in a second. Then we're also going to see this week what Joe Biden is doing with Saudi Arabia and that oil situation. That's coming up this week as well. A lot of corporate earnings as well that will give us an indication of the GDP, the growth of the economy. Is it shrinking or growing? But in this incredible recording, we're going to go over all your money as well. A fourth stimulus check is landed in every U.S. state since the month of March. I'm going to show you how to get it later in this recording, and it's huge. You qualify. Single, married, with children, without children, on benefits, not on benefits, young, old, rent or own. I got those incredible checks for you. They are upwards of $85,000. Would you like $85,000? I bet you would. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, stay with me over this broadcast. We're going to go over those incredible checks in just a second. Those checks are already law. They are already in every U.S. state, and they are huge. But there could be additional checks coming on top of those, in addition to those checks. And those checks are currently being negotiated in the Senate. Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer negotiating a lot of provisions, one after another. And what's at issue? Of course, it's the Build Back Better Act. The negotiations are between those two leaders right now. And when, where, how, and every check at issue, let's go over the details of that money, starting right now. First, they agree they are going to get it done, and I believe they are. They also agree about the timing to get it done. They want to have that money in your hands before the midterm elections. So let's look at that just for a second first. This is really fascinating. The midterm elections are in November, but you don't vote in November. You vote about 90 days before. And if you vote 90 days before, then you got to get the checks in your hands before you vote. Otherwise, there's no purpose to passing the legislation. That means they need to get the checks in your hands by September. Now, they could vote in September. It would be a very quick turnaround time. I don't want to say they can't vote in September, but I would like them better to vote in August before they go on that second half of August recess. I'd like it better. They don't have to, but I'd like it better because it's less of a time crunch. If that's the case, then they have to get the writing done and the solidification of the negotiations done in the month of July. And to do that, they got to get close to the finish line right now in June. See how it really came up so quickly, the time frame? Yeah, it really did. We have really great news about this tonight on Evenings LALATE. I'll tell you what the great news is. It's a preview right now. It came out last Friday, and if you saw it on this weekend's broadcast of this channel, you heard the news. The breaking news that came in was about seniors. Joe Manchin's two provisions that he really does not want to do in the Build Back Better Act are one, paid leave. He emphatically just doesn't want to do it in general. And then Medicare expansion. He doesn't want to do it because he says Medicare is running out of money. Social Security is running out of money. It's not going to exist anymore a couple more years than then. That's what he says. What happened, though? On Friday, before the weekend, and it's featured on the show's recordings over the last weekend, Janet Yellen preempted Joe Manchin with an incredible publication that basically said, nope, we have enough money for Social Security and Medicare for 75 more years. Wow, this is incredible, great news. Now let's understand the nuance of this report. The last time this report was released was 1980s, nearly a generation ago. And suddenly, as the negotiations between the Build Back Better Act are at issue, and some of those provisions that Joe Manchin's worried they're going to run out of money, she said, nope, we got enough money to last 75 years. A lot of things are going to last for 75 years. My surfboard will last for 75 years. The plants, not so much, because they're real. Hairstyles, I don't know if hairstyles will last for 75 years. But, everything else is really good because those provisions indicated by Janet Yellen would survive. Funding. And which were the ones at issue with Joe Manchin in the Build Back Better Act. They are dental, vision, hearing, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, the $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. That's a lot of great stuff. Now he doesn't really have a really leg to stand on saying that they're running out of money because they're not. So that got really fascinating. The Build Back Better Act has a lot of provisions in them. We're going to go over more about them tonight on Evenings LALATE in prime time. Of course, one of the provisions you love in there is the one that the legislators represent they would add in there is MSC, monthly IRS stimulus check, which amounts to a mere, I'm going to quote mere, I'm going to come in really aggressive on my adjectives today, $7,000. $7,000, yeah, it's a mere $7,000, because later in this recording, I have $80,000 for you. $80,000, not $7,000. How long does $7,000 stay in your wallet? A month? Yeah, and so those incredible checks are in the Build Back Better Act. Now, the next part of the equation is what else supports the passage of the Build Back Better Act? Bad economic data. And there's a lot of bad economic data out there. We're going to go over the oil situation in a second because viewers said on the 1 o'clock show today, Ella, can you really go over that oil in detail? I will, because I've got to tell you, it's really changing very quickly. But we have new changing landscape of one of the core numbers that we use when gauging this economy, our rebound, our contraction, and you know what that number is? Labor, employment, unemployment. Where is that number today? And this is why you can't miss a show over the weekend. Buried in the news releases over the weekend, but covered front page news on this channel, it was my lead story over the weekend, was the announcement about labor changes at Tesla. Why is it so important for you and this economy? because this was the first major corporation to actually say the word F, the F word. No, not that F word. The other F word, freeze. Tesla was the first company I've seen in corporate earnings reports this month, the last month, that actually used the word freeze. Hiring freeze. Hiring freeze is really a horribly scary word. It basically, last time we saw it was during the recession. Hiring freeze means do not come and ask for a job here. We're not hiring anyone for many, many months or years. Tesla announced over the weekend 10% of its labor force gone. Goodbye. Thank you for your service. You don't have to come back. And also announced a hiring freeze. Hiring freeze is very scary. When you have a recession, you have a series of events. You have layoffs, you have hiring freezes, and potentially you have store closures. And those things have not really manifested themselves until last weekend. The first major announcement of layoffs and hiring freezes. Now, we have seen some indications of layoffs in other corporate earnings reports in the last few days, but they weren't as pronounced. Walmart gave us the indication a month ago when they said, we have too many employees on the store floor. We're not moving enough merchandise. Snap saying, we're only hiring 500 more employees for our tech company. Well, what does this mean for us and you? What it means for us and you is that this is big support for Build Back Better Act. Because if the economic data for labor is so weak, if the labor numbers are so weak, then they gotta do Build Back Better Act. I want to tell you where we are now for June 6, 2022, because it is so important. Labor has a lot of numbers behind it, and there are some analysts out there that are really running wrong, false narratives about the labor. What are they doing? They're basically running the data from February or March. They're brought on broadcast news or asked for their opinion, and they're running it based upon February and March data. Now, we all understand the data is sometimes delayed. You know, it's delayed a month, it's delayed 2 months. Some of the reads are, the month before data. But these analysts are running misnomers. And I would not be surprised if some people who are against Build Back Better Act, namely Republicans, would say some of this incorrect data from February. Basically, this economy was much stronger in February than it is right now. How do we know this? Let's go over the details, and I need your help in the live chat right now. It comes from you, the eyes and ears of the American public. You, the Purple Power community, you are every swath of American culture. You're in every U.S. state. You are in the stores. I'm on set here for Surfboard. I'm not in Walmart. There is no Walmart in Santa Monica, California. I don't go into Walmart. I can't see this type of stuff. You see the stuff. Now, I do love the online store of Walmart, but I don't see all the big box retailers. You do. And with that, I want to interact with you right now. If you're in the live chat, more or less is the question. Have you seen more or less store employees in your major retailer at the checkout in the last few weeks? Viewers have been categorically, viewer after viewer, chat after chat, saying when I go to check out and pay for my products in the stores the last week or two, I've seen a lot less employees at checkout. In fact, sometimes I see no employees. That shows a diminishing labor force in stores. It means people are being laid off. Next question. Get ready to answer yes or no. Have you heard, yes or no, from friends, family, or neighbors that people are being laid off in your town at their business, whether it's big box retail or mid-size retail? Viewers have said yes. Viewers have absolutely said yes. Why is this data so important? We've done this as a family, as a Purple Power community for a long time. You see the data before I can report the data. You see the implications of people being laid off before I can report it. Not only one, because the data I give to you sometimes delayed, but sometimes the data could be inaccurate or spun. And that is where my opinion of the data is right now for labor. I believe in the case of the retail sector, especially auto and housing, there's currently major layoffs. There's not inherent coercive hiring freezes, but there are layoffs or non-hiring. I believe the labor force is not what it was in February. Here is the opposite. Some analysts are doing a false narrative on broadcast media saying there's a labor shortage. It's hard to get employees. Everyone's looking for employees. You can't get anyone. And we're just looking high and low, and we can't hire employees. We're just trying to hire fortunes of employees. Not true. Really not true. In fact, the data that was released last week showed that 200,000 new unemployment claims for the week ending the week before a horrible number. 200,000 new unemployment claims. That's the worst we've seen since pre-pandemic. The first week going into the pandemic, March 2020, was 200,000. This is not a good number. It should be about 188. We're going to see that number this Thursday as well. What else did we also see? We also saw on Friday before we went into last weekend, that the vast majority of people newly unemployed were people who work for small businesses. And those small businesses, they reported, were closing down. That's not good. We're losing small businesses, we're losing jobs, and what else? How many jobs were created? Well, we had the slowest job creation number for private sector at 128,000 for the month of May, said ADP in Thursday's report last week. This is dramatically low. 128,000 new jobs created in the month of May. What were we looking for the read? We were looking for a read of 300,000. The report, however, came in less than half. Not 150, just 128,000. That is horrible. That is horrible. That is why you want to get the Build Back Better Act. Now, let me go over something very important with you. I haven't put it usually in the top of the recordings, but let me put it right now. If you're watching and you have a job and you're good and you feel safe, but you're also worried that you may lose your job, and then you're thinking about the forced stimulus checks coming up later in this recording, please remember, and I'm going to make it very clear, because I don't think I've put it at the front of those recordings ever for many months. Please remember, there is no more FPUC. There is no more PUA. So if you work at, let's say, an Uber or Lyft and got laid off tomorrow, or you work as an independent contractor, whatever it is, and you got laid off tomorrow, there is no PUA. There is no PUA. So you cannot get $200 a week, you cannot get $400 a week. You can't get anything a week. There's no more PUA. It doesn't exist. Moreover, what about that add-on of FPUC that goes on top of that? Doesn't exist. So the only thing that's left for unemployment if you have a job and you're laid off is UI, if you're a W-2. Most Americans, well, not all Americans, I should say, not all Americans are W-2 employees. If you're a 1099, you're laid off, there's no assistance, anything for unemployment for 1099 employees anymore, 1099 independent contractors anymore. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Now, the other economic data that's at issue that is really bringing this economy down quickly is the housing market crash of 2022. And later on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I will go over why the housing market crash of 2022 is already underway and how it's going to get worse, number one. Then I'll be going over the stock market crash of 2022 as well. We're down 26%, or the market is down 26%. We're going to go 48% down because we're going in recession for 2 years starting next year. It has been my prediction since spring of this year. A lot of analysts are saying no recession, just downturn. You know what? You can call it what you call it. I believe that the market is going down a lot, and we can play games about words of what it is. I'll be featuring that later in this recording. Why the words of a downward spiral of the U.S. economy is not really the issue. It's just how much are we imploding? How much are we going down? Then, the other thing that is important to understand is that there's a big problem with gasoline. And is that problem with gasoline solved or not solved? That also impacts your money. And that is why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. In the second half of this video, we're going to do it. We're going to go over these checks in every U.S. state. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And Step 3, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. Back in the month of May, viewers said to me, LA, can you find us a check? The Build Back Better Act is not done, and I can't wait around. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now, not 5 years from now. Can you find us a check? And I did. I got viewers' checks, and I've been getting viewers' checks from this channel since day one of March 2020. $50 million I've gotten viewers from this channel. And I've gotten viewers a fortune from these forced stimulus checks since the month of March of 2022 when I start to find them. And I'm going to go over them with you in the second half of this video. But let's turn over to the situation happening with gasoline, because viewers had really great questions on the 1 o'clock afternoon show today saying, LA, can you explain to us, is the gasoline going down? Is it going up? Is it stalling, or is it a solution? Well, I'm going to start by scaring you by saying there's a series of analyst reports out today that the situation with gasoline, how bad it is right now. Let me go on camera and look you straight on the eye when I say this. This is just some analysts. This is not me. This is some analysts. Minutes ago said the situation of how bad gasoline is right now could be this way for years to come. What? Excuse me? Years to come? You mean we're paying $7 a gallon at the pump for every single year for the rest of a generation? Excuse me? What are you talking about? All right, so that's, I'm not saying I'm subscribing to that belief. I'm just telling you that is something that came out just minutes before I went on air. Let me tell you what's going on and whether there is a solution, whether there isn't a solution, how it would work, and all the details. Basically, let me go over the simplistic part of the equation, and then let me tell you the backstory. The way to get the price of gasoline down is to replace the missing oil. There's a missing 3.5 million barrels of gasoline per day internationally because of two equations. One, the embargo of Russian oil, and two, the decreased production by OPEC Plus starting a month of March. OPEC Plus is a consortium of countries in the Arab countries that produce massive amount of oil. 3.5 million approximately. Some people put it as low as 2.5. We, as a country, could ramp up production, but we never would produce more than a couple 100,000 a day. We don't have any capacity to get anywhere near that, nor do the Western allies. So you have to find the replacement oil from somewhere else. And what are the choices? The choices are Venezuela, Brazil, OPEC Plus, Saudi Arabia, Iran. Those are the inherent solutions, or UAE, which is, of course, part of OPEC Plus, like Saudi Arabia. If you get the gas replaced, you're done. You're missing the oil. You replace the oil. You got it from somewhere else. You're done. We go back to our pre-pandemic gas prices. We're done. The solution is solved. If you don't, then what happens? If you don't, the situation actually does not stay where it is now. It actually gets worse, because as you have more and more and more shortage of gasoline, the price goes higher and higher and higher. All right, so who needs to get that solution for us? It needs to be done by both the Western allies and the White House. So it's not just the White House needs to do it, the Western allies and the White House. It starts with agreement on what to do, and that was why we had really, okay, now I'm going to give you the backstory. This is why we had really great news back about 2 weeks ago. That Sunday, a Memorial Day weekend, I said, I'm so excited to report this news to you. All the Western allies agreed in Brussels, the European Commission, to ban Russian oil. Yeah, it took a few months, but they did it the Sunday and Memorial Day weekend with a waiver given to Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Slovakia. Now, why is that good news? Because when everyone agrees to ban the Russian oil, then everyone as a team has to go find the replacement. If they don't ban it, then there's no urgency to find the replacement. Now they banned it, they got to find the replacement. So, do they have a replacement lined up the moment they banned it? No. Does the White House have a replacement lined up to place it? No. Now, without going into all this sort of angst about you waited too long, you could have done this months ago, I've done that recording before. Let me tell you where we are today. Today, we have a series of options. I'll tell you what is being done with each of these options and whether they're being pursued or not pursued. Number one, the best of the options is Iran. Iran could replace the 3.5 million barrels a day. What do we have to do to get Iran? Very simply, finish a deal that we were negotiating for 2 months in Geneva called the JCPOA. We were having Germany and France negotiate on behalf of us with Iran. And all we have to do is agree that Iran will sign off on disarming their nuclear warheads, which they agreed they would. And then we will no longer ban Iranian oil in the United States or the Western allies. Done. It's pretty darn simple. So why has it not been finished? I don't know. No one really understands why this JCPOA negotiations that were so close to a finish line back in the month of early May simply fell apart. And I don't have a lot of news stories to go off of it because there's not a lot of news reporters over in Geneva. So I can't tell you the specifics of why it was finished. Option number two, Venezuela. Venezuela is embargoed, not because of nuclear situations, but because human rights violations. They are an HRV for purposes of this recording. Human rights violator, and the U.S. has banned their imports for many, many years. Next, what other option? Is Brazil, and they are a major potential exporter. Why are they banned? Human rights violator, HRV. What is left then? We have OPEC Plus and its individual countries. OPEC Plus includes UAE, United Arab Emirates, and also includes Saudi Arabia. And so the White House has the option of going to OPEC Plus as a team or going to the individual countries. Has the White House done any of those situations? I featured I featured UAE early on when Putin invaded Ukraine in March. And I said, you know, they're an ally of the United States. They are a human rights violator, but they're generally perceived as an ally, United Arab Emirates, as the United States. Why not pursue them? There was a series of reports I featured on this channel, I think it was in April, where the White House reached out, then didn't return the phone calls. Sort of like a bad day. The next day, you don't call back. And then reached back out to UAE, and UAE said, I see you're negotiating with Iran. What am I? Leftovers? I mean, that was basically the quote. That was basically the quote. They felt like they had been dissed by their significant other. And they said, no, no deal. This is really, yeah, a lot of dramatics. It feels like a soap opera, doesn't it? It feels like a very bad daytime soap opera. You turned around to me and then started dating the other oil tycoon. So what is the White House now perceived as the solution? Saudi Arabia. So this was announced last Friday. The White House is announcing that they are going to Saudi Arabia. No, literally going there. They're going on the plane there, not going to do a deal there. They're actually going to Saudi Arabia. Excuse me? Now, this one is really strange. Now, let me explain the economic impact of it for you right now. Does Saudi Arabia have 3.5 million barrels that could replace the missing OPEC Plus and Iranian oil, Russian oil? Yes. Would Saudi Arabia do a deal with us? I don't know. I really don't know. Number three, but Saudi Arabia is part of OPEC Plus. Doesn't they have to get the permission of OPEC Plus? Yes. This is why it doesn't make any sense about what the Biden administration is doing. So let me give you the takeaway. If the deal's done with Saudi Arabia, it would work. But I don't know if the deal can be done. One, Saudi Arabia is part of OPEC Plus. It can't ramp up production unless it gets permission from OPEC Plus. So why are you going to the one country of the conglomerate? You have to go to the conglomerate to ask permission about what to be done. Number two, last Thursday is featured on this channel. OPEC Plus gave us the winning card, and the White House threw it out the window and said, yeah, whatever. Excuse me? Like, totally. Valley Girl from the 1970s. The White House heard the announcement. OPEC Plus gave us the best news we have heard for months for oil. It's ramping up production. Oh boy, this is good. This is good. Remember, of the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline that's missing, many of them are from that decreased production by OPEC Plus in the month of March, about 1 million barrels. So what is OPEC Plus doing? It confirmed it's going to increase production by 400 to 432,000 barrels per day, starting in the month of July, all the way into August. And then they seek to, excuse me, I misquoted that. They seek to raise it by 648,000 barrels per day. 648,000 barrels, 100,000. Let's do this again. 648,000 barrels per day in July and August, and then return back to the 10 million barrels per day that it was doing right before COVID hit. Well, we're done. We're done. This is wonderful news. This means we would not have $10 a gallon at the pump. This means we would not have 185 international Brent crude. We're 120 today. What was the White House's reaction to this wonderful saving news? We recognize the role of Saudi Arabia as chair of the OPEC Plus, and we will use all tools to get energy prices lower. Excuse me? That's a non-committed statement. And then, of course, this happened. The president's saying, I'm going to get on a plane and fly to Saudi Arabia. Why? Why are you flying to Saudi Arabia? To do a deal to get you some oil. That's really nice. Now, it works. Yes, it works if that oil is approved by OPEC Plus. Yes, it ends the energy situation in the United States. Yes, we're done. But there's a consequence to it, and a major consequence to it. We look like a bunch of spineless people. Why? Because for many, many years, the Democrats especially said we're banning Russian oil from OPEC Plus because they're human rights from Saudi Arabia because they're a human rights violator. Now we're going right to make a deal with a human rights violator in the month of what? June, July, when we could have done this the day Putin invaded Ukraine. Yeah, we have human rights violators in Brazil, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia. And we could have done deals with all of these countries last year when we saw Putin was going to invade Ukraine. We're now waiting as people have spent all their, savings on gasoline at the pump for month after month. Now we're doing it in July. And is that deal going to even be done? I don't know that it's going to be for certain to be done. But it economically, financially does work if it's signed on the dotted line. It would reduce the price of gasoline to its pre-pandemic levels, and we would be done. So I hope that explains the situation. Takeaway right now is that we don't have a deal at the time of today's recording, which is June 6, 2022. We could have a deal within a week or two. The president's indicating he wants to fly to Saudi Arabia right away. He is, I think, in Los Angeles today or tomorrow. So he wants to get into Saudi Arabia as quickly as possible. It's not like it's right next door to Santa Monica, California. Yeah, Saudi Arabia is not down the coast in Santa Monica, California. But he wants to fly, you know, from the shores of Santa Monica, California to Saudi Arabia. I mean, maybe stop over in... where else do you stop over? In Paris, you know, for a second or two, and then get a deal on oil. This would be the solution. But that is why you need to get a forced stimulus check that's in every U.S. state. You got to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state because you're paying a fortune for gasoline. And if this deal doesn't happen, could we have this price point for this gasoline for a generation? Could we be paying this astronomical amount of gasoline for a generation? Don't wait. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. And during the commercial break, hit that membership link and become a member where it says join here. Join the channel if you're not. Then in the second half of this video, we're going to go over those big forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Then I have new insight about the checks that viewers have been asking. I'll be going over those as well. And I'll be answering some of the questions I've been getting from viewers in the recent days. Additionally, it's a big, bold, beautiful day for June 6, 2022. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as America's most loved show at daytime afternoons LA continues. See you back with big money and those forced stimulus checks after the commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right on a big afternoon's LA from Santa Monica, California. Hope you have a beautiful day. It is June 6, 2022. Why is that date, June 6, so significant? Because by September, 90 days out, most analysts are now confirming my reporting for several months. We're going to be in an economic downturn, spiraling contraction of this U.S. economy. And in 90 days from now, this U.S. economy will be a lot worse than what it looks like today. You may think it's not that good right now, but guess what? It's going to be a lot worse in 90 days. Then, I've been reporting for months, since the month of February, that starting next year, we're going into recession for 2 years. Here's what you need to know and why it's so important to get these stimulus checks, which I'll be going over right now. First, this economy is going to be really bad in 90 days from now. You can't wait to get these stimulus checks later. You need to get them today. Number two, we don't know if there ever will be stimulus in 2023 for the recession. Will there be a recession stimulus package? We don't know. These checks are available right today. Don't wait. Get the cash. Hoard the cash. Let's get some money right now. And it starts with understanding where these checks are coming from. These checks can come from different sources. Congress, that hasn't happened yet. The states has happened, and the president executive order has happened. Back in the month of March, I found these checks for these viewers. what are you watching on this channel? You're watching a channel that delivers the financial news of where we are, where we're going, and also delivers you the ability to get checks. I don't report the checks. I actually get people checks. And what did I find in the month of March? A lot of fourth stimulus checks in every U.S. state. I gave them a numbering system or a lettering system, A, B, C, and thereafter. And you qualify. Let's go over the qualifications. Single individual, $75,000 or less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, go get it. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, go get these incredible checks. Let's look at the very first check at issue. I call it Check A, and it's a beautiful $6,500 or $12,000 fourth stimulus check. You heard me right. I said $12,000. I don't get small checks from my viewers. A $400 check does not do anything for my viewer because within 3 days, the viewer is going to say, I used it up. I need another check. I get viewers big checks. And this is a wonderful, wonderful check. Congratulations. Go get it. $75,000 less, single individual, annual income, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, annual income, go get it. If you rent, if you are on benefits, not on benefits, go get it. And finally, the incredible check is in every U.S. state. How do you get this incredible, huge check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go right on the video, hit that subscribe button. Step 2, become a member. Join the channel. There's a join link under the video. Join and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. Then, as a paid member, get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered to members of this channel via the YouTube alerts. It is absolutely incredible. Go down in that membership newsletter, and then you find Check A. And there it is. It describes a little bit more about it, the eligibility, and then gives you the link to apply. You go right in and apply online with your phone, and you go to the nationwide website. It runs, then you choose the state, then choose the weatherizing grant check for your state, and go get it. But you're not done there yet. No, because you're going to go get a Check B. It's a $15,000 to $80,000 fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. You are seeing that graphic correctly. It is $80,000 on the high end. But the viewership of the channel has gotten, on average, $66,000 to $80,000. When was the last time someone got you a $66,000 stimulus check? Yeah, you have found the channel that makes things happen for you. Welcome, become a member. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, go down that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get the point of the newsletter where it mentions Check B. There's another link at Check B in the newsletter. You click it, you go into the website, choose your state, and apply. And you are ready to rock and roll. But you're not done there yet. No, because you're going to get a Check C as well. For my renters. Yes, renters and homeowners. It's a wonderful MSC, monthly stimulus check on average. $2,000 over 12 months. Go get it. How do you get this wonderful Check C? And yes, viewers are getting on average $45,000. We've been doing this Check C for nearly 2 years. I've gotten people $50 million from this channel, much of which is from Check C. How do you get that incredible Check C? Similar way as A and B. Step 1, become a member to this channel. Then go down that membership newsletter to when you're at Check C. Then it'll tell you who to call, what to say, and when to say it. And you get those incredible checks for Check C right there. No one has done a better job at getting Check C than you, because we've been doing this channel since December 2020. In the thick of the pandemic, millions of Americans were watching this channel saying, Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin have not gotten the second stimulus package done. Sort of like now. Haven't gotten it done. Do you have some checks for me? Sort of like now. And I said, let me look. And I found this. Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. It was really the saving grace for millions of viewers on this channel. Thick of the pandemic, December 2020. There was not a lot of money out there. I got $250,000. But the best thing was I got a document and I got a skill set. What happened? I had a document where I said, I think this is going to become a new bill next year, 2021. And if it does, I'm going to call it third stimulus. I coined the expression. And I said, your money you're getting right now with me from Purple is what I called it at the time, will become a law in third stimulus, but there'll be a lot more of it. You're going to do really well. Why? Because you're learning the skill set with me now. Skill sets is what I teach on this channel. I teach people the skill. At the time, a lot of people were sort of uncomfortable picking up the phone and calling for rent assistance. What do you mean I have to call? Yeah, I taught people how to do it. I taught people how to go to a website, how to do it routinely, how to get into repetition of doing it. I started with EIDL, then PUA. There's a whole repetition of pushing and going and doing it again. And that's what happened. And magic followed thereafter. I told viewers I think you can get about $15,000 from this when it became third stimulus. But viewers got on average $45,000. Look at these incredible numbers. Nisi, $20,000 for rent, all to $20,000 to $27,000. Would you like a check for $27,000? I bet you would. Here is the utilities. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000. Then for SNAP, Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year because of this channel. Because of this channel, he's getting $250,000 over the next 10 years. Here is the combos. Nisi, who's in the live chat of Eden's LALATE every night, she keeps on going back and getting more sums of money. $8,000 every few pops. She's at about $50,000. Here's Mark. Watch Mark's number, $32,000. Well, Mark was at $32,000. Then I told Mark, go get more money. He did. He went to $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. Then he got check B, $66,000. Yes, Mark's at over $166,000. Here's Lorraine. She was at $105. She's on the live chats every night. She keeps on getting a couple $800, $900 here and there. She was at $105, then went to $120. I think she's maybe about $130 right now, $130,000. We've had a lot of viewers who've gotten over $200,000 from these items as well. So here are the important things for you to know when doing the membership newsletter. 1, subscribe. I mean, don't wait. What do you, don't wait. Hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a single video because we have a lot of shows throughout the day that the content does not overlap because the breaking news is so robust and you don't want to miss any video. Number 2, hit that little bell at the front of the channel, the bell, the alert bell, and make sure it's set to all notifications. Then become a member. Under the video where it says join here, become a member. Join the hundreds that are joining daily. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. When you're in the live chat, you'll have a beautiful emoji behind your name, but more importantly, you will have that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's go over it. At 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you will get an alert from YouTube that says new LALATE post. Then you go down into the post and it says newsletter. Then it says, click here to read the post. You click it and you go right in. Viewers have said emphatically that the following line that I said on camera the last few days has really helped them. It's Pacific Standard Time. I mean, I've always said that. But viewers say, oh, I didn't realize, I didn't catch that. Pacific Standard Time. The newsletter comes out Pacific Standard Time. So if you're on the East Coast, you're not Pacific Standard Time. If you're in the central part of the United States, you're not on Pacific Standard Time. And some viewers are like, oh, I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that. So if you don't know what your time zone comparison is to mine, let me tell you. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And in the Central Standard Time, it is 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. There you go. And finally, if you need help opening the membership newsletter, closing it, using it, where it is, and all those questions, then send me a private message on Facebook. At facebook.com/LALATE News, I answer private messages within about a 4-hour turnaround time. Pretty good on getting back to you really quickly. What's important to know is that there is a downward spiral of this economy underway. Everyone agrees upon it. What people do not agree upon is the terminology of what it is. What I want you to understand is I don't want you to get hung up on the words. Economists come up with a lot of different words to describe a lot of different things. Stagflation, recession, inflation. All I want you to know is that it impacts you negatively. It's not a better situation than it is the month before. It's a worse situation. And the downward spiraling is already underway. And if someone says to you, we're not going to recession, don't believe then we're not still spiraling downward. It just may not qualify as, quote, a recession. The negative impact on you will be pronounced. Now, how pronounced and when and where? Let me go over the data because I haven't really gone over this as detailed on a timeline in a long time. 90 days. I believe by September, you're going to see this very, very pronounced. This is what I'm predicting by 90 days. You're going to see in this U.S. economy by September. Number 1, full-on 2022 housing market crash. Absolutely. You're going to see that there's going to be an increased glut of homes that are not selling. That the price slashing of the homes, which actually started with the data last month, will be more pronounced. People are going to have to slash the price of the sale of the home because they're not selling. So all that data point where homes were up 20%, the price of the homes were up 20%, it's going to be the reverse. The homes are going to be down 20%. It's going to be horrible. Then you're going to see new home starts down as well. Auto is really going to be 1,000% worse than it is right now. Auto is down 17.8% per year to date. It's tonight on Amy's LA, but that is based upon consumer demand. The demand is going to be worse because two things are going on. The auto industry is doing their business the wrong way. They're actually increasing the price of the car to give themselves more profit level. At $5,000 profit a car compares to $2,000 just a few months ago. Is that going to work? It's going to blow up in their face. It's ridiculous. The auto industry should be slashing their profit levels because guess what's going to happen? Consumers are not going to be buying cars because of the price of gasoline. They're not going to be buying cars because of inflation. They're not going to be buying cars because of the shrinking of this U.S. economy. And they're going to go and look at the car and suddenly the car is a lot more money than it was a few months ago. This is where an industry that is becoming too greedy. Greedy means you're trying to take as much profit as you can for the consumer when you understand the consumer may not be showing up to buy anymore. Travel. Travel is going to really take it bad. Travel and leisure. We already saw the indication from the airline analysts that said the airlines may have had good bookings for Memorial Day weekend, but no one is going to pay an average fare of $500 domestic U.S. indefinitely. That ain't going to work. You have a family of four, they're not going to pay $2,000 to fly from here to, the Midwest. Then paying $900 for a rent-a-car, and then pay, $700 for a hotel. They're not going to pay an $8,000 trip from here to the Midwest. That's like a $400 trip. No one is going to do that indefinitely. They did it for maybe one 3-day weekend because they want to get off of COVID and have some fun. But that industry is really going to take a hit because, again, they're pricing it out of control. They're pricing things up too high. So what is this going to be for you? What is it going to be for your friends and neighbors? What are you going to see happening around you economically? You're going to see people laid off. You're going to see people having problems getting a replacement job. You're going to see small businesses closing. You're going to see the job you have right now not really giving you the raise. I got to tell you, there's some analysts that are still doing these raise stories. They keep on running these stories that, salaries are up 20,000%. They're not up, and they're not going to keep on going up. No one is going to raise your salary based upon the price of gasoline is higher than it. They're just not doing it. So that situation is going to get worse. And then those people are going to go stimulus stampeding. Do you have more money for FPUC? Doesn't exist. Do you have PUA? No, doesn't exist. EIDL doesn't exist. LLBOA doesn't exist. PPP doesn't exist. Well, what do you have? I got a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. I have a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. How long has it been around? Since March. Is it still around? What month are we talking about? October this year? I don't know. That is why you're watching this channel. You're watching this video in June. You're in a good position. You're in a good position. You are here before the stimulus stampede is arriving. You cannot wait. I'm putting fire under your feet for obvious reasons. You cannot wait. Every day that you wait, it's a very serious situation because the money will not be here indefinitely. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter. And please make sure you watch all the videos throughout the day because the videos do not overlap in content because there is so much changing news across the board, corporate earnings and more. I'll have more about what to expect from the analyst numbers coming out Friday, especially that CPI. And we'll have more about the situation on potential more stimulus on top of that. Tonight on Evenings LA, we got a big show. And of course, we'll be talking about more about that recession, Jamie Dimon's comments, Elon Musk's comments, and my comments, how they're all sort of mirroring at the same time. Finally, is there another check? There is a check. Check D. It is also in the membership newsletter. In some states, there is a $2,000 average check, automatic. How do you find it? Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. Remember, a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state now, but who knows what will be happening by October when that stimulus stampede and the downward spiral in this economy is more pronounced. I'll see you tonight on Evenings LA from 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tonight. That is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful day. Always stay motivated, always stay pushing, and please get the money that's available for you right now. Save LA for more.